Yesterday, as I was getting food, I was driving in my car and I was listening to a broadcast, and I was thinking to myself, the power of the internet. People don't understand how powerful the internet is. Don't mind Barney here. My 6-month-old is in the room with me, so if you hear some weird noises, that's why. Okay, a lot of people don't understand the power of the internet. Look, here I am. I have an HD cam, cost me $30, $35, whatever. And I have a 5-month-old in the background, and you're watching my video, right? And now the internet has eclipsed TV for news and for entertainment. Okay, that was something I read about some months back on Drudge Report. So now people like me can get on YouTube and entertain you, or inform you, or talk about some educational topic or whatever. And for some reason you think it's more valuable to watch me than to watch the TV. And I'm thinking to myself, there's a lot of power in this. A lot of people don't realize the amount of influence they could have on other people. Okay? And not that this has anything to do with this topic. I'm not trying to make some political statements here or anything, but I noticed how certain people in the IRS and Obama administration are really trying to hammer down on people they don't agree with in Hollywood. I actually just did a video about this. And people who are conservative, like there was this guy who did a video 2016 and he interviewed Obama's brother. That guy's in trouble now with the law. It seems like someone's going after all these people, and a lot of these people are on movies, or I guess they could be in the radio or internet or whatever, but the thing that gets me is it seems like it's more focused on people who are making movies or TV shows or cable or maybe radio, right? And it's almost as if those who are in the old media don't understand the power of the new media, that the new media is where all the sway is. Okay, and this kind of leads me to all these conspiracy theories out there that there's going to be a one world government and they're going to take over and you're not going to have any rights and all this kind of... I mean, yeah, it might happen one day, right? But what I'm saying is, what I'm trying to get at is, if they're so intelligent and they're so clever, why is it they can't figure out simple stuff like this? That the internet is more powerful than the TV. Why is it they go after the old media more? And I made this argument before, but not that it's really that relevant. But my point is that, all these people have conspiracy theories that we're going to be all slaves in 2 years or something like that. I honestly don't think they're smart enough to pull it off. Okay? They would have to have everything literally in place and then have like sort of a monkey button to push, like a monkey couldn't screw it up type of button. Then they could maybe take over the planet. I mean, it's because they're so stupid. I mean, there's so many things that they believe and do that are just stupid. And I mean, they don't even understand the power of the new media. I mean, if I was the IRS and the Obama administration, that's what I'd be going after. But apparently they're not smart enough to figure stuff like that out. So, and I'm just pointing out what I'm seeing. Okay, so people don't understand the power of this new media, right? And they still live in this whole idea that the most influential things are music, movies, etc., etc. But there's a lot of power in this. And like, if you have a good thing to say, I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can't do in movies, you can't do in radio, because you won't be able to get advertisers, or nobody's willing to do it without being paid, or whatever the reason. But that stuff can be done on YouTube that can't be done there. And you would have a niche, and you can make a difference in society, right, with whatever you have to say. That was kind of my point. And I mean, hopefully you would be doing something good, Personally, I think getting the truth out there, news coverage that you can't see anywhere else because it's owned by some big corporate giant that is influenced by whoever, right? the Illuminati for all you conspiracy theorists. And actually, I kind of think that there is that stuff going on. Don't get me wrong. I really do believe that there is an Illuminati, and I do believe that there are rich bankers that kind of control and pull the strings in a lot of respects. But I don't think there is as power, or I don't think they have as much control on things as a lot of people believe they do. I do think they have a lot of control over it, but they're still, I kind of get the impression that they're not as smart as they think they are. So here's your chance to make a difference, you know. Here's your chance to get on YouTube or Facebook or whatever. I mean, Twitter, and make a difference. If you have something relevant to say, you know. And what I do here is I expose errors in Bible, in Christian theology. I expose errors in evolution. I have a lot of different argumentation that I present that basically shows the flaws in all these different viewpoints. And I think what you end up having is a lot of polarization in America, especially left, right, liberals, conservatives, Christians, atheists, blah, blah, blah. And I think both sides often have problems with their arguments. And you end up finding out sometimes the truth is sort of not on either side, but kind of in the middle. I'm not speaking against Christianity because I'm a Christian, but I believe there's a lot of doctrines that are in error that are taught as even orthodoxy. It's not even orthodoxy. Okay, a bait and switch. Okay, they tell you this is orthodoxy, but it's not orthodoxy, and then everybody believes it's orthodoxy, and they all believe it has to be this way, and it's not true. Okay. And you would think Protestantism would be against something like that, but actually they're often the promoter of it. So I think it's kind of funny, actually. And you would think Protestant, you know, all these guys, Bible-believing Christians and all this, Bible literates. And what you end up finding out is often they're not the Bible literates. And if you take it literally, they're wrong. You know, I had to get my son here. He's going crazy. See, there he is. Okay. So, what am I trying to get at? You know, what you find out is that a lot of these groups are actually, I wouldn't say lying, lying, unpurposeful lying, deception, whatever you want to call it. They're not even aware of it. Let me give you an example. For instance, I'll just notice that, like with atheists, they'll always claim that they're using science. And I find that kind of humorous because what they do, it's almost like they're lying to you because they have all these assumptions that have nothing to do with science, and then they make conclusions off those assumptions, and they use, you know, logic or whatever. So they have all these assumptions, and then after the assumptions, then they start using logic or whatever, argumentation, and then they come to a conclusion. But the problem is all their assumptions are wrong. So obviously the conclusion ends up being wrong too. It doesn't matter how logical they were in the middle. That could all be perfect. The problem is there are assumptions in the beginning. And the same with Christians, you know, like you'll have these ones that will say they're Bible literates. And I've found in a few cases where, actually more than a few, where they'll say they're Bible literates, but if you take it literally, it's the exact opposite of what they say. You know, so it's like, you guys say you're science-based, but then you're not science-based. You guys say you're Bible literates, but you're not Bible literates. It's like, I hold their feet to the fire. I'm like, and I poke holes in their arguments. Look, man, if you're a Bible literate, why don't you believe this? If you're a scientist, why don't you be scientific? You know, it sounds. I mean, I'm making broad generalizations here because I'm not trying to get into certain debates here. You're going to see lots of debates on my channel and stuff, but I mean, I talk about dragons, the correlation between dragons and dinosaurs. I mean, they just found blood vessels on a Tyrannosaurus Rex bone. Blood vessels. And maybe even blood cells, red blood cells. Okay, just tell me, how in the heck can you have a 68 million year old bone with blood vessels on it and red blood cells? It's impossible, people. Use your brains. Okay, that's like one of the biggest ones I've seen recently. You gotta be completely delusional. You drank the Kool-Aid, you already believe in evolution, and then someone comes along and says, look, I found a Tyrannosaurus Rex bone with red blood cells and blood vessels on it. You should be asking yourself, What they're saying is, wow, I didn't realize you could have something 68 million years old with blood vessels on it. No, buddy, what you should be doing is you should be questioning your own viewpoint. You should be asking yourself, why the hell are there blood vessels on a 68 million year old bone? Because it's not 68 million years old. That's the point, okay? That right there alone is proof against evolution, or at least proof against Tyrannosaurus rex living 68 million years ago. That right there alone should really make you doubt evolution, at least on the aspect of the Tyrannosaurus rex. Okay, that stuff like that. On the Christian side, I mean, I talk about the hell topic. I go through and I show how certain terms have been slanted and skewed to fit whatever theology. So when they translate these Bibles, a lot of them you see today, they say what they want them to say. I am not joking. 8 Colastus Aeanos, Matthew 25:46. These shall go into everlasting punishment. Jonah was in the belly of the whale for Aeanos, which was 3 days. So we have Jonah in the belly of the whale for everlasting, eternal, eternity. But that eternity was only 3 days. So why is it has to be everlasting forever in hell? You don't see what I mean? They like make the word say what they want it to say. It's just like the devil did in the Garden of Eden. Did God really say blah blah blah? See, when you translate these Bibles, if you have a person that believes a certain thing when they translate it, they're going to make the Bible say what they want it to say. And all you have to do is slightly change the meaning of a word a little bit, and it literally makes the sentence say the exact opposite. Okay? Like the term colastus means pruning. It means discipline or punishment that benefits somebody. Does it benefit anybody to be tormented? Does that make any sense? So I don't believe hell is eternal torment. And it wasn't the Greek words that actually caught me onto the error. It was actually reading the early church fathers, because I wanted to know what the very earliest Christians believed, like the disciples of the apostles. I wanted to know what they believed. And I found that there was actually a few different viewpoints, and they were nothing like what people believe today. That's what made me, start to question that. So what I'm saying is, you got these people that say they're Bible literates, but they're not Bible literates. They don't take the Bible literally. They don't read it in the ancient languages. They say sola scriptura, but then they don't. This is what's so crazy about this. They say sola scriptura, which is a Calvinist Westminster Confession sort of orthodoxy, which is not real orthodoxy, by the way, because see how I keep having to contradict? You see what I'm saying? Like, okay, sorry, my son, he's really excited here. Orthodoxy is what was defined in the ecumenical councils. There are 7 ecumenical councils. We have like the Nicene Creed, Apostles' Creed, blah, blah, blah. Those are orthodoxy. But then we have people, and with orthodoxy, you had all the Christians united in agreement on these things. And this was stuff that happened like in the 4th century. Then you have people later on defining orthodoxy according to their beliefs, like the Westminster Confession, which was 1,000 years later. And it wasn't the whole church. It was just Calvinists. Okay? You see what I'm getting at? And I actually went through the Westminster Confession on another account of mine, showing all the errors, every part of it. And there's so many errors, and it's ridiculous. Okay, so what I'm saying is, like, they define orthodoxy as being this. You have to believe hell is eternal torment. But there is no orthodoxy that says you have to believe that, but they tell you that it does. And with the atheism, it's the same kind of stuff, man. Like the geologic column, it doesn't make any sense. I did a video on this on another one of my accounts, showing all the errors on the creationist and the evolutionist side, and then I made my own viewpoint that actually makes sense of all the data. But see, people they polarize this side or this side, and then they both argue against the other side and say, look at this guy's errors, look at this guy's errors, but then they don't see their own errors. This is what I'm trying to get at. Okay, and what I do is I poke holes on both sides and say, look, you guys are both wrong. This is actually a better representation of the data. You know, I have an engineering background, so I'm always trying to figure stuff out. This is how I look at stuff. And this is kind of what I'm doing here on YouTube. I'm trying to show people errors. You know, people say it's science, but it's not science. And then people say, I'm a Bible literist, but they're not a Bible literist. They don't even take it literally. So it's like they don't even know their own hypocrisy, basically. That's what I'm saying.